What are JavaScript's ToNumber, ToString, and ToBoolean Abstract Operations? Imagine you're working on a web page and suddenly notice some numbers behaving strangely or strings turning into numbers unexpectedly. That's because JavaScript has special rules for converting values between types. Today, we're going to explore how JavaScript decides what to do when it needs to change a value into a number, string, or boolean. These rules are called abstract operations, and they help explain many quirks in JavaScript's behavior. Let's start with ToNumber. This operation takes any value and turns it into a number. For example, if you give JavaScript true, it becomes the number 1. If you give it null, it turns into 0. But if you give it a string like hello, it tries to parse it as a number. Since hello isn't a number, it becomes not a number, which is a special value representing an invalid number. When you give it an empty string, it turns into 0. For objects, JavaScript first asks the object to give a primitive value, usually by calling its value of, or ToString, method, then converts that to a number. If you try to convert a symbol or a bigint to a number, JavaScript throws an error. This operation explains why number true gives 1 and why number null gives 0. Next is ToString. This operation takes any value and converts it into a string. Numbers like 123 become 123, and booleans like false become false. For objects, JavaScript calls their ToString method. For example, an array like 1, 2 turns into the string 12 because it joins the elements with commas. When you use the plus sign with a string and another value, JavaScript automatically calls ToString on the non-string value. This operation helps when you want to display values or combine them into text. Finally, we have ToBoolean. This operation converts any value into either true or false. Values like undefined, null, 0, not a number, and the empty string are considered falsy, so they turn into false. Everything else, including objects, non-empty strings, and numbers other than 0, become true. This conversion is vital in decision-making. For example, in an if statement, JavaScript uses ToBoolean to decide whether to run the code inside. If the value is falsy, it skips. If truthy, it runs. Understanding these conversions helps you predict how JavaScript handles different types in expressions and comparisons. When you use loose equality with is equal to, JavaScript often converts types using these rules. If you add a number to a string, JavaScript calls ToString on the number. In logical tests, it uses ToBoolean to determine if a value is true or false. Knowing these rules makes your code clearer and helps avoid unexpected bugs caused by automatic type coercion. Mastering these conversions gives you better control over how your code behaves and makes your JavaScript skills stronger.